Welcome to Ain't Got Time to Read, the place where I give you the breakdown to a plot and simply save you time. Now here is your spoiler alert. This video does contain spoilers. In this video, I will be explaining the plot to Predator Cold War, which takes place after Predator Concrete Jungle and continues the story of Schaefer. Please show your support and leave a like. At Asima oil field, pumping station 12 in Siberia, a man named Sobchat gets strange readings on the size monitors. Lieutenant Ligachev and her men are sent out to investigate. They find a man hung upside down with his head removed from one of the native tribes in the area. They are attacked by a predator and do not stand a chance against it. Lieutenant Ligachev puts up a fight but ends up watching her men get brutally murdered by the predator. She is found by a native tribe and rescued. Upon returning home, she has to explain to her superiors what happened, and they order her to go back to the pumping station with more soldiers. In Blue Creek, Oregon, Sheriff Rash visits the dentist and freaks out as he is still haunted by visions of the predators. After the events of Predator Concrete Jungle, he moved to Oregon. Detective Schaefer is still a New York detective. He is visited by one of General Phillips' CIA men named Smithers. Schaefer refuses to help General Phillips and heads over to a drug bust. The drug bust goes badly, but Schaefer manages to turn it in his favour and arrests the dealer. Smithers and his men kill the dealer and kidnap Schaefer. Schaefer wakes up on a chopper with General Phillips, who tells him that the predators are back, and if Schaefer helps them, he will give him as much information as he can on his brother Dutch, who was still missing after his own run-in with the predator. The predators attack the pumping station and kill everybody inside, both soldiers and civilians. Schaefer is introduced to the soldiers that he will be working with, that are specially trained to go up against predators. Schaefer is not impressed and shows it by embarrassing their leader. Rash is concerned that Schaefer hasn't returned his calls. He speaks to an officer at the NYPD who tells him that Schaefer disappeared after a drug bust went bad. The officer tells Rash about the note with Phillips and Smithers written on it. Hearing the name Phillips, Rash knows instantly that something is wrong and gets on the first flight he can to New York. Schaefer and his team arrive at the pumping station and find the remains of the men working there. They are ambushed by Lieutenant Ligachev and her men, and they are taken prisoner. Lieutenant Ligachev talks to Schaefer about the situation, while the other Americans are locked away. They find Sobchak is still alive but suffering from severe frostbite. They look at his maps and graphs and pinpoint where the predators are. Meanwhile, Rash visits Smithers and ties him up. He threatens to shoot him if he doesn't tell him everything he needs to know about Schaefer. Smithers cracks and tells him everything, so he pays the Soviet ambassador a visit, who lets him into his office when Rash begins causing a scene. General Phillips and his men are able to blow off the door to their holding cell and attempt to escape, but their weapons end up failing them due to the cold weather. Schaefer and Ligachev decide to go after the predators, but the Russians pursue them both and try to kill them. Their attack is cut short when a predator kills them. The predator then turns its attention onto Schaefer and Ligachev, but they work together and kill the predator. Rash travels to Siberia with a Russian general as mission parameters change. General Phillips is ordered to stop Schaefer from destroying the predators and allow them to take off. As Schaefer and Ligachev draw nearer to the ship, they have to discard most of their clothes as the ship gives off an intense heat. Ligachev gets angry when she realises that the pumping station residents were killed by the predators simply because their ship was damaged and they needed parts. The predators attack them and they manage to hold their own, until one predator fires a razor wire at Schaefer, which would have torn him apart if Ligachev wasn't quick enough to shoot a hole into the ship, freeing him. Both the Americans and Russians hold Schaefer and Ligachev at gunpoint and allow the predators to leave. Schaefer is shot in the leg when he refuses to cooperate. Schaefer is surprised when Rash helps him to get on his feet. Ligachev disobeys orders and throws a chunk of C4 into the ship as it takes off. The predator ship explodes and Schaefer is relieved. Knowing that Ligachev will be in a lot of trouble, he considers whether she would make a good NYPD detective.